What's up, guys? Zoronden here, back with some more Starcraft 2. Today we are going to have a Grandmasters game on Waystation between, in the bottom left-hand corner, coming in the purple Protoss, Adonminus. And in the pink Zerg in the top right corner is going to be JonnyRecco. And an interesting race choice for JonnyRecco. I feel like he should be Terran fighting the Zerg, not actually playing the Zerg. But we'll see how it works out for either player here today. Again, Grandmasters match, so this should be a good one. And yeah, so I'm excited to get back to it. We do have a interesting first pylon placement. We'll keep an eye on that. I don't think we're going to get anything too fishy. Just, it's a long ways away from his Nexus. Well, again, we'll keep a close eye on that. Maybe he's looking for that early Zerg scout for some reason. I'm not sure. But that's definitely not going to function as part of a wall off. If it does, it's going to be one of the big ones that goes right here, which is definitely possible. So we'll keep an eye on that and go from there. We do have the production tab up. I remembered this time before I even started the game. And yes, indeed, it looks like he's going to go for that big wall off. That's kind of what I figured once I realized that was a nice little single spot. You can't, or you can wall off everything with just this little strip, and that is very powerful at slowing down the Zerg. If you can block them or funnel them in any fashion, the Zerg can really get controlled there. Vega's got a cool little symbol there, nice shark, Vega Squadron, kind of almost looking like a spaceship, even though it is a shark. I don't think, okay, yeah, there is something here for Adonminus. It is a tiger. I think that might be default, one of the default ones you can choose. Obviously, Vega Squadron, not necessarily because of the names. I haven't looked too closely at those clan/team logos much. That is something I should actually do. Wouldn't mind making myself one just for the heck of it. They are pretty cool. Do have a expansion going up for Adonminus, and not actually. Is it ahead of? It's slightly ahead of JonnyRecco's expansion. So Adonminus going to keep pace with the Zerg expansion here, and that is something as Zerg you do not want to let Protoss do. So could become really hairy here for JonnyRecco. JonnyRecco does have one up. He knows it's there though, and he also knows this wall up's on the way, but there is already a cannon. As we saw, Adonminus went Forge first. I actually didn't pay attention to that. I should have. He went Forge first and grabbed a defensive cannon. That is an interesting note here. Again, just a bit different playstyle here. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think it's going to affect him in the long run. He was trying to prevent some early Zerg harass. And look at that. JonnyRecco, seeing that Adonminus already had that expansion up, did go ahead and grab a fast third. He got a third at the 4-minute mark. That's pretty quick, all things considered. No gas yet coming out of JonnyRecco. We do have double gas already for Adonminus, and he's working them full. The expansion, of course, just about to finish up. And that's going to start to increase the funds gathered by a dramatic amount. There we go. The wall off is all but done. There is a little funnel point. Zerglings should be able to fit through there. So he'll probably throw a Zealot or a Sentry in there. And it does look like he's going to produce a Zealot to throw into that slot. Make sure that wall off is complete. You don't want any Zerglings slipping in and getting to your squishy little probes. The third underway, or for JonnyRecco, just about to finish. We do have a Zergling little patrolling around, making sure nobody bothers that base, or at least so JonnyRecco knows if it's getting bothered. The other Zergling down here at the Xel'Naga watchtower. Decent idea. I always like to place guys, or see guys placed at those watchtowers. Wouldn't be bad to have one over here as well. You would get almost, I think you would cover almost this whole battlefield. You'd cover it kind of right to there, just like it does this side. So there's really only a tiny crevasse you can slip through, and probably most people probably aren't going to think about that. We do have a JonnyRecco Zergling kind of scouting out all along here. It looks like he's just kind of checking out bases, making sure there's nothing sneaky going on from Adonminus. No proxy pylons, no expansions, anything like that. Really probably looking for those proxy pylons, as those can definitely be a pain in anyone's side. And worker production, let's check that out. We do have 36 on the field for JonnyRecco, but 37 on the field for Adonminus. Adonminus, again, keeping pace with the Zerg production. Really not letting him get an advantage there, and that is going to be incredible down the line. when Adonminus's war machine starts to roll out. We do have Warp Gate on the way. No extra gateways yet, but we do have a Stargate throwing out some Phoenixes right now. And JonnyRecco has found the Phoenixes as he is about to lose his Overlord to it. So he's going to commit to a suicide run, scout out as much as he can, make sure there isn't more than one Stargate or extra gateways, anything like that. Not going to get a ton of information, of course, as there isn't anything up here. And does place the robotics facility right before that Overlord died. I think JonnyRecco saw it. Yes, he did. So could have waited a second, and JonnyRecco would have not known about that. Not a big deal, but a little bit of misinformation or no information can be useful. Some Spore Crawlers going to go up at the natural, the third, as all three bases. Wants to protect against that Phoenix harassment. And that is the one thing that Overlord did. It spoiled the Phoenix harassment before it even began. With these Spore Crawlers here, the Phoenixes aren't going to be able to do anything to the bases. They're going to have to sit in the fringes between the three bases and wait for units to transfer and wander around. Of course, all the Overlords bundled up over the Spore Crawlers as well. Really smart there. And he's pretty much going to keep everything safe with just 6 Spore Crawlers. Queen at each base also is a big help. And a bunch of Zerglings actually now moving out across the field. I think JonnyRecco senses a problem with Adonminus's base. Problem is, this is a full wall off. It's not going to get in and do much damage. Or any, really. The Phoenix is up here. Oh, they have caught the Queen out of position. They're going to snipe her off. A bit of Spore Crawler juice getting shot at that one Phoenix. It's going to get out of there with very little hull damage. But it did take some hull damage. And I'm actually surprised. Let's go back to the production tab there. Okay, yeah, there we are, switching up to Void Rays now. I was going to say, I would be very surprised if he continued to produce Phoenixes. But he did get up to 5 when I think his first one was discovered. Oh, wow, we do have a Warp Prism dropping off a probe over here to get that third base on the floating island. That's not something you terribly often see something out of Protoss. Building an entire vessel, basically, just to drop a probe. Not necessarily the best advised point, but this is easier to defend. You don't have to necessarily worry about it much, because what's Zerg gonna do to that? I mean, they can grab a bunch of mutas and go over there as well, but you know, they would have to research Overlord drop to really handle it without just a bunch of air units or Night's Canal, of course. Just braving the Spore Crawlers here and going for it. I guess with that many Phoenixes, he can do that to a degree. Just one by one pull them out, but that seemed a little bolder than I would have been with his Phoenixes. But I'm guessing at this point he's not too worried about the Phoenixes. He is moving over to the Void Rays, and he wants that to be his laser beam damage. One thing I'm noting, we do have a Colossus on the field with extended thermal lance on the way. We do have another Colossus on the way as well, and so yeah, things are going to get a little hairy. Oh my gosh, 2 additional Stargates. There are finally some more Warp Gates. Not Warp Gates, though, as they are sitting as gateways. That is interesting. We are sitting on 5 Warp Gates, or Gateway Warp Gates. Combo between the 2, I suppose. Looks like he's going to ferry some drone or probes over to get that base working. And again, looking at the worker count, it is 69 to 58. Adonminus is down, which is normal, but still only 10 down is pretty impressive. And JonnyRecco is building a nice little army over here. Some Corruptors, of course, to deal with the Phoenixes, and then a nice Roach Zergling ball. Looks like he is going to try and do something with the Warp Prism. That is a smart idea. It looks like JonnyRecco, though, has also grabbed his 4th, which he does need, of course, now that JonnyRecco's got that 3rd set up. And again, going to check this, JonnyRecco knows this expansion came down, so that's something he's going to be wary of. And unfortunately for this Warp Prism, the Zerg Horde, the Zerg Swarm, rather, is headed up north, and the Warp Prism should have seen that, but obviously they're not going to be able to shoot at him, so we'll see if he's going to do anything. There's a Spore Crawler there, wants to get out of there. JonnyRecco not slipping up, not allowing anything to not have a Spore Crawler, and it looks like the Swarm is going to follow the Warp Prism in an effect to try and get the Corruptors in range. That way he never loses vision of where that Warp Prism is. Of course, it's just going to fly over the void and escape detection. But here come the Corruptors. They had the angle. Don't think they have the speed. The Warp Prism not going to make it out. Not at all. And his corpse falls into the abyss below. Some Zealots finally on the field. Do we have Zealot legs? No, we do not. And then we are, yes, are on production. So we do have air weapons level 1 on the way. More void rays, lots of void rays coming out. In fact, how many void rays is he now on? That is 6. I think that is 8. Wow, that is 8. Now 9. Lots of void rays. Those are going to be a serious threat. 9 void rays is a lot of void rays. And look at all these corruptors. There's only, I should say, look at all of them. There's only 7 corruptors. Those will not stand up too long to a bunch of, well, to 9 void rays and 5 phoenixes. So going with an air-to-air and a land-to-land kind of force here, other than the void rays, of course, which just own everything. Ooh, swarm host though on the field. Definitely like seeing that as the action starts to tense up here towards the end of the game. What I would assume is the end of the game, at least. It is late game. That is for sure. Looks like the air weapons one just finished. The locust swarm though is beginning, and unless Adonminus has an answer for this, his base is going to start to collapse. So this needs to be answered quickly. The void rays move in. He's probably going to wait for this phase of locust to move to die, and still not moving. I think he needs an observer. There it is. It just popped. So that's actually what he was waiting for, so he knows he can detect those burrowed swarm hosts. The first wave of locusts, or the second rather here, but the first to engage combat units, he is utterly destroyed by mainly those colossus. That thermal lance just doing so much damage. Going straight over the spore crawler, another swarm host round of locusts getting destroyed again, but this time by the void rays mostly. Spore crawlers defensively set out here, starting to go down. One void ray did go down to a swarm or a spore crawler, and it looks like the Zerg forces are in full retreat, but there's a roach attack here in the main and in the natural. Quite a bit of damage. Hallucinated. Oh no, that was callback. So they're going to come back and defend, much needed. But a bunch of units, the void rays actually still continuing their relentless attack, and that could spell big trouble for JonnyRecco. These roaches in here still doing damage. I'm not sure where these things are coming from. If they're being dropped, there's no nidus swarms in here. That's definitely not the case. The roaches may have had burrowed movements. Double check that really quickly. Yeah, so the roaches definitely causing serious problems down here. Still doing it, actually. Looks like they're finally going to be cleaned up. And the void rays actually starting to get cleaned up by corruptors here and spore crawlers. Lots of spore crawlers on the field. And the Protoss attack is going to be pretty much stopped as well. The observer does come in. Can't do much damage to swarm hosts with phoenixes. In fact, I don't think you can do any. I'm not even sure if you can lift it. The original force that retreated is coming back, but I think Adonminus needs to take those units home. They're going to be in some serious trouble, and he is at a serious food disadvantage as of right now. I'm going to check the roach den if I can find it. I don't remember what the... Okay, tunneling cause. Yeah, he does not have that, so I think he just barged a group of units in, left some at the natural, and put some at the main, so he could do that attack. The attack from Adonminus, though, continuing here, and not in his favor even slightly. He's got spore crawlers, queens, corruptors, everything shooting at him. And Adonminus knows he's not going to pull it off. Calls the GG, and wow, that got really intense there at the end. Some really good action, and I don't think I've ever seen a corruptor bolt frozen in midair. That's kind of gross. Almost looks like a bug. Huh. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Please do thumbs up and subscribe so I can bring you more Starcraft. Always some good Starcraft around the corner. And that's going to do it for today. I've been Zoronden. I'll catch you all on the other side.